Alright guys, we've just built a Skottle to take camping with us. Alright everybody, this is the build. We're about to get started. One of the things that I wanted to show you is if you don't have access to a plasma cutter, this is one of the things you can do, or a CNC plasma cutter like I use. I took just a piece of metal and I didn't have a scrap piece of metal laying around, so I used this cheap framing square, and at the 1 inch mark I drilled a hole that will take a screw, and then I went up 3 inches, drilled another hole, and then went up 3 more inches from that, 6 inches, and put a hole. Now the reason for the holes is whenever I can screw a drill a hole through my plate here, put my screw in there, put my plasma cutter tip in the hole, and just move this around and cut a 6-inch circle out that will accept the burner. Then I can come back at the 6-inch mark, put my plasma cutter tip, and you see right here I've already burned part of the square trying to get the plasma cutter to work. And you can cut a 1 foot circle out. You can do that, but I had a neighbor down the street that has a CNC plasma cutter, so he just threw the metal on the table, popped it in his plasma cutter, and you'll see the video here shortly where he cut those circles out for me. And he cut two, one for me and one for my cousin Lucas, because I'm doing 2 builds. I've already done 1 build, you've already seen that. This is the 2nd build, and we're bringing you along. Alright, so moving on from cutting from the circle. The first thing that we're going to have to do is plug this hole right here that's in our disc. You can see farm disc still has the dirt on it where it came off the implement. So I'm going to take my metal here that I went and bought, put your plow over the top of it right in the corner, and I took a pen and drew out the shape. Moving that off to the side, you can see here, and I took just a piece of metal, like a metal screw, and I just kind of went over that so that my ink doesn't go away. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this over to our metal cutting saw blade. We're going to cut this little square out, and then I'm going to take the grinding wheel, and then we're going to grind the little bring the camera over. We're going to grind the little intricate shapes out of the metal. So let's go ahead and move on over and let's get started on that. Okay, we've got our 12-inch circle with our 6-inch circle cut out of the middle for our propane burner set down in. Now, in order to put the legs onto this, we're going to use 3/4 inch couplings, and these are sealed, these are not galvanized. And we're going to set them in a triangular shape, and I've already got that measured out. But we need the legs to be able to splay out so that it will support it like a pyramid. So in order to do that, we need to cut an angle on these couplings at 10 degrees that way. So those legs, they set like that, and then I can come back there and spot weld them. Now how I did that was, just set that to the side. I just created myself a little jig. And that was hard to see, but these two boards right here are cut on a 10-degree bevel. Now I can put my coupling down in there and then kind of clamp it down with this board that's on top. And then I can set this right in my saw right here and hold this. And then bring my saw down and I can cut a 10-degree bevel on that. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. And I just want to explain that to you. Let me grab my eye protection. Now I really enjoy having this metal cutting blade. I wish I'd have bought this earlier when I was building the teardrop camper. This metal cutting blade by Diablo cuts steel like butter. It doesn't heat up. It's not aggressive. It doesn't just eat away the metal. It just cuts right through the metal. I'm very happy with it. Very impressed. So let me take a second and get this lined up where I need, and then we'll go ahead and cut our 10-degree bevel. But as you can see, there's that 10-degree angle that I was telling you about. I just put my miter saw at a 10-degree angle, cut these little blocks. Actually, I just made one cut and then separated them out. Put my lug in, my coupler in there, pushed the blocks up against it, and then screwed the blocks down to hold it in place. So there's not very much room for movement in there. And then just clamp it down with that block on there. That's all it is to it. So done with that, put that to the side. Bring our piece of metal over. Skinny side toward the front. Line that up. Line that up. Line that up. So now you can see how the legs are going to splay out, and that's about where they're going to go. The next thing that we've got to do is we have to drill a hole through there so that we can get these thumb screws to screw into the coupling to hold down the conduit. So let's move on to that. Okay, we got our hole drilled. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our tap, 1/4 inch threaded tap with a 20 pitch threads, which is what we have here, and I'll show you on the package. 1/4 inch, 20 threads to the inch, 1 inch long thumb screws. And we're going to thread for a 20 teeth over 1/4 inch. So what we're using here is high heat black, just in case this thing gets hot, the paint won't flake off. All right, this is the base you guys were just watching us weld up. Pop in our little stove is the Ozark Trail. One thing I like about this is the bottle screws right here in the bottom, but I got a valve place here on the side in case. No, that's an emergency relief. I thought that was a place to plug in a big tank adapter, but it's not. All right, so we're just gonna drop this right in here. I've seen a couple of these posted in videos where people build them out themselves, and I wanted to build one to take camping with us. So we built this one out. We're doing a burn-in. We're gonna treat this disc. Once we get it hot, put the oil on it, and then we're going to treat it just like you would a cast iron pan. Okay, round two, everybody. Right in the middle of that, we dumped in our peppers and our onions. And when this Skottle got hot, where I welded up that little centerpiece went right down around that and started flaming up from the bottom. So I had to pull the Skottle off, take it in there, and weld up the bottom. I wasn't going to weld the bottom. I didn't think it needed it. But apparently it's beneficial if you have the bottom and the top welded up. That way, if you have a pinhole, it doesn't, kind of helps prevent oil leaking all the way through. So round two, fajitas on the Skottle. Let's get to it. We're using just regular fajita seasoning. A lot of it. Yeah. Just keep adding it until your soul goes, that's enough. Taco Bell.
And you can go right back on the plate because it's just, water on that plate. Whenever you start doing the meat, I gotta go in and get a plate.
All right, we're done. Taste test is up next. All right, we got our fajitas made, so here comes the taste test. Now I'm gonna let you know how these fajitas compare to fajitas that we normally have on the stovetop. And we're gonna see which one tastes better. Not bad. I say they're about the same. It's just as good as stovetop cooked fajitas. Alright, if you've enjoyed this build, hit the subscribe button. Give us a like. If you really like it, share it out on social media to your friends. And I do appreciate you watching.